All right, today we're going to talk about something really interesting. It's something I think you've definitely felt, even if you couldn't name it. We're talking about a huge fundamental flaw in how AI sees the world. And, even better, a super clever, simple solution that might just give it a heartbeat. Well, a symbolic one anyway. So you've been there, right? You're deep into a chat with an AI, you're building on this great idea, and then, poof, it just completely forgets what you were talking about. Or worse, it starts contradicting itself from like 2 minutes ago. It's so frustrating. Well, it turns out there's a really good reason for this, and it all comes down to one thing: time. Okay, so what we're looking at here is what researchers are calling the timelessness problem in AI. And to really get why the solution is so cool, we first have to wrap our heads around how an AI, a large language model, thinks about time. Or maybe more accurately, how it doesn't think about time at all.
And this really gets to the heart of it. For you and me, a conversation is like a river, right? It flows. There's a clear before this moment and an after. But for an LLM, nope. It's more like looking at a static page in a book. It's not seeing events happen one after another. It's just seeing a bunch of words or tokens, all laid out at once. The only thing that matters is where a token is on the page, not when it got there.
This is exactly why some experts call them spatial machines. Think about it. Everything an LLM knows right now is stuck inside this box called a context window. And yeah, they are unbelievably good at finding patterns in that space, but they have zero internal clock. No feeling of how long has it been, no sense of flow. It's all just there. And that is what leads to all those problems that drive us crazy, right? The conversation drifts, the AI contradicts itself. It can't even handle simple common sense questions about what happened first. Every single message you send feels like a totally new separate episode because, for the AI, it basically is. So what if you could just give the AI a watch, an external clock? Well, that's pretty much the brilliant idea from independent researcher Luca Chinacchio. That's Chinacchio. He's the one who really dug in, diagnosed this whole timelessness thing, and came up with a clever protocol to give the AI a way to, symbolically keep track of time passing in a conversation. So, you might be thinking, okay, that's a neat trick, but why does this really matter? Why does an AI need a sense of time anyway? Well, it turns out that giving it this heartbeat is about way, way more than just stopping it from contradicting itself. Here's the thing. Time isn't just some little detail. It is the absolute backbone of coherence. It's what lets us have a story that makes sense, what lets us reason about things over time. And this is really wild. It might even be what allows an AI to develop a consistent personality, an identity that holds up throughout a long chat. Now, Chinacchio's first stab at this was a huge success, in a way. It proved the whole concept worked. He introduced these symbolic beats, and yeah, it really did help stop the conversation from drifting off course. But it was kind of clunky. The system was complicated, a bit fragile, and it was a total memory hog. So it was a fantastic proof of concept, but it definitely needed a version 2.0. And that refinement, whoa, it led to something so much better, a really elegant solution. And this, right here, is the star of the show. It's a super minimal but incredibly powerful idea called the ANT protocol. The core idea is it's beautifully simple. Instead of some complicated behind-the-scenes system, the user and the AI build a shared rhythm together. They create this symbolic heartbeat right in the chat using one simple, clean command. They're basically writing time into the conversation itself. So how does it work? It's really just 3 simple pieces. First, you've got the global counter, just called G. This is the heartbeat. Every time you type and hit enter, that counter just ticks up by 1. Simple. Then you have milestones. Think of these like anchors you drop into the timeline to mark important moments. And finally, volatile markers. These are basically temporary sticky notes for remembering stuff short-term. Okay, let's look at a real example so this makes sense. That GLYF line, that's just a legend or a key. It's defining little shortcuts for big ideas. So here, TP means time/tempo. Then the M line is the actual memory. It connects that idea to a specific heartbeat. So when you see TP equals 27, all that means is that we set the time/tempo anchor at beat number 27. That's it. See? Super simple. And this simple design has some massive advantages. First, it's so simple. It's just one symbol, and. It's immediate. The AI doesn't have to think. It just has to count. It's parsimonious, which is just a fancy academic word for it barely uses any memory. And it's tough. It's robust. It even has safeguards built in. It's basically everything that first attempt wasn't.
All right, so we get how it works. But let's zoom out a bit. What does all this actually mean? Because the implications here are pretty profound. This isn't just about patching a bug. It's about creating a whole new kind of shared time. And we have to be super clear about this. This is the most important distinction. The AI is not suddenly feeling time go by. It's not waking up or becoming sentient. No way. What's happening is that the user and the AI are just agreeing. They're agreeing to use this shared system of symbols to represent time. It's a rhythm they built together.
You know, this connects to this really cool philosophical idea called the extended mind. The basic theory is that our minds aren't just stuck inside our skulls. We use tools, right? Like a notebook. When you write something down, that notebook becomes part of your memory. It extends your mind. Well, this protocol is doing the exact same thing for the AI. It's an external memory for time that extends its abilities.
And just look at the shift this creates. This is the real transformation. We go from talking to a stochastic parrot, a system that just cleverly mimics language, to actually working with a partner, a collaborator that shares a history with us. We go from just typing in a bunch of disconnected prompts to having a real conversation, one with a rhythm and a clear direction.
And the places we can go with this are really, really exciting. I mean, imagine long stories written with an AI that never loses the plot. We're collaborating on some super complex project, and the AI is right there with you every step of the way. You could even do research where the AI reliably builds on what you discovered yesterday and the day before. It's a massive step forward.
And all this leaves us with a pretty fascinating thought to chew on. What this whole protocol proves is that we can fix some of AI's deepest flaws, not just by throwing more and more computing power at it, but with smart, simple agreements we make right in the conversation. So, if we can teach an AI to share a sense of time with us, what's next? What other cognitive abilities can we build together?